Hi guys. Let's see, make sure our stuff is on. Whew. It's been a day and a half, guys. So I'm coming to you from a different location than usual because at the moment I do not feel safe in my own home, especially close to the windows, and I slightly understand how agoraphobics feel because today when I was at the grocery store with my daughter, I was almost, it's just a really weird situation. I want to say we were almost kidnapped. But anyway, I just want to tell you about my experience and how it's important to be very aware of your surroundings as a woman, especially a woman with children, and to what you can do and how to minimize the risks, and also reference to video. Anyway, there is a video that I watched that is important, that I think is one of the main reasons that I am still alright right now. So just take that with a grain of salt, and I'll let you know at the end. So basically, I went to the grocery store just to pick a few things up with my daughter, and it's not very far. We don't live in a very big town. We live on a pretty good side of town, one of the better sides of town, to be honest. And we went to one of our local grocery stores, and I just went in to get a few things. I came back out, and I keep my daughter on my back when I go out because it's easier. I don't always, sometimes I'll put her in the cart just because she's getting older now, but especially when I'm going in and out, and she was sleepy today, so I just kept her on my back. When I was going out, I stopped because there was a car coming really fast, and I don't think they saw us. And then while I was waiting for the car to pass, because obviously they were in a hurry, and I let them pass, I noticed this couple a couple with a daughter that were standing outside this black SUV, like talking amongst each other for some reason. And it seemed like, to me, it felt like that they had been there lingering a while already, and then they were already like talking and stuff. And so they were going in as I was leaving, and I still loaded my stuff up, had my daughter on my back, and just trying to be aware of my surroundings, looking around, keeping my spidey sense in check with my spidey woman senses. And I strapped my daughter in after that and get in the car. Everything's good. About to put the car in drive, and I'm like, oh poop, I forgot the thing my husband sent me to the store for, which is just right up front. So it really hadn't been that long since I had came out and that family had gone in. So I go back out, put my daughter back on my back, just get my bag, everything, go in the store, right by customer service, right what I'm getting, and then I come back out. And when I'm strapping my daughter in, she's just upset because she's in. So I felt like the urge to get in really fast today. And just to not be out. I just felt stressed. And then that black SUV I saw pull up behind me while I'm strapping my daughter into the car seat. And they parked right behind me while I'm strapping my daughter in, and I'm like, that's really weird. Okay, let's hurry up and get her in. So she was upset, so I'm like, I don't have anything for her right now, so I just give her my cell phone so she'll calm down to get and I don't usually do that, but I did that just because I'm like, I gotta get in the van, because I had already started it, what I do is I start the van because it's hot. I don't usually start it unless it's like something like that, because that could leave you open to someone stealing your car while you're strapping your baby in. So, started the van, locked it except for the doors that I'm going to be using, and I kept those open while I'm strapping her in, and I'm right beside her with my pepper spray. Girl, you know I carry pepper spray and a knife. If you don't think, and I don't carry no flip knife, I carry a stable blade knife. And I know knives can be turned on you, but I don't have a gun or a carry and conceal. And that's gonna change, honey. Trust me. Um, so basically, they were parked behind me. I was strapping my daughter in, and I close the door, and then I get in the passenger seat to get over to my seat really quick because yeah, I lock the other doors. Obviously, I'm not starting my car and leaving my driver's seat. People will literally steal your car like that. You don't want to do that. And then your baby and your car are gone. Anyway, I jumped in, and as soon as I closed my door, I looked behind there, and they get out of park and they drive in front of, they get out of park like, oh, we're not just parking behind you randomly. And they stop in front of the entrance, which they had already been in. They stop in, the guy gets out, goes in the door into the entrance for literally like 30 seconds, and then comes out and hops back in the SUV and they leave. Already, I'm like, that was really freaking creepy. Excuse me if I've sworn. If I need to, I'll just bleep it out. If not, this was very stressful for me. Not just this, because, girl, it gets better. And when I mean better, I mean worse. It gets worse. I thought I was good, but I pull out, starting to head back home. And in the back of my mind, like, I live in a place where we have multiple outlets to our parking lot, and I had already been planning ahead because people have been moving out, and I like to find me some scores by the dumpster sometimes because they be leaving their good stuff behind, and I'm like, might as well. I need it in my house. Let's get some updated furniture. You know, it happens. So I had already been planning to go into the one of the other sides of the parking lot that's furthest from my apartment. Anyway, I'm driving, checking on my mirrors, being a safe driver, doing the cool things, because you be safe when you're driving. And it wasn't that obvious at first, but there's this truck behind me and turned with me. Yeah, but he didn't have his turning signal on. I always think that's rude as heck if you turn and you don't put your turning signal on. So I'm like, da-da-da. Didn't really notice that much. But I still watching this truck follow really close behind me, and then I go up a hill and I gotta go down it. So when I go down it, I have to take a sharp turn and signal and brake. And so I'm like, checking the mirror to make sure that if they're not going to like turn, that they're gonna like go past me. I'm just like, oh, this person's gonna pass me, blah blah blah, because hardly anyone ever turns down that with me. But then they're falling behind. He doesn't signal, but he also turns with me while I'm going. Turns. I'm like, okay, this is weird. Just a little weird. My red flags are already going off since the weird black SUV with a couple. And then he turns with me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm already planning to go into the furthest outlet to my parking lot anyway. Let's see, blah blah blah, da 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 da. Like, you know, obviously. And thank God we have security where I live, by the way. So if you know where I live, we have security. And okay, anyway, being paranoid. So this guy, and I have one more turn. I make a turn in my parking lot, and I'm thinking, he's definitely not going to follow me. He does not live here. I know pretty much all the cars in this parking lot. I'm not new here. I've been here for like almost 5 years, and I know all the cars. I know who's moving in. I know who's been here. I know all the cars. He does not live here. And even if he's I've never seen him visit here. Like, why would he be here? So I'm like, and dude, he turns in with me. So I'm like, okay, that's creepy coincidence. Really creepy. My alarm bells are definitely going off. Multiple red flags here. So I'm like, okay, I've heard these creepy pastas. If this person is really tailing me, let's figure out. So, bro, I park at a different apartment. I'm like, okay, maybe he's visiting. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's visiting. Dude parks on the opposite end of the apartment that I parked at. I'm on this end, he's at that end. He parked, and then I'm freaking the freak out. And so I'm like, I almost go to turn and just leave my apartment to like lose the tail. But instead, I'm like, that, that. So I turn my happy ass around. Forgive me. I turn my happy butt around. I go straight over by his vehicle or his truck. And you know what I did? I put it in park right by his vehicle. Get some pictures. And as I'm taking this picture, I look into his driver's side mirror. He was smiling at me. I am not joking. He was smiling at me while I was taking his picture. That is not a natural reaction for anyone who's ever had someone take a picture of your car and your license plate. That is not a natural reaction. That is a creepazoid reaction. He knew what he was doing. Okay, so I don't go to my apartment, obviously. I drive down the road and go park in front of like some random bar and grill that's close by, and I put it in park, wait for whatever the crap's gonna happen next, and I call my husband because I am freaking out and I am mad. And I gotta tell my husband this because this is some crazy Reddit, like, nightmare fueled stuff. Like, oh, and obviously my daughter's still with me. Like, so I call him and I'm on the phone with him telling him this story, and he's like, "Where? What?" He sees a picture of how close he finally sees a picture of how close they were to like our how close they were in our apartment. He's like, "What?" And I watched the truck go by me, and obviously he followed me out. Like, after I left and parked, he waited a little bit, but he drove out the same way I drove. And I came in the opposite way. There's like two roads that go into my apartment, and he followed me out the second way. So he was not visiting, obviously. And needless to say, I called the grocery store and let them know. I called the police and let them know. I called my apartment management company and let them know. We called the security company and let them know. And we're going to follow up with the security company and management and the police again to make sure that even if like I'm safe, that everybody else in the community is safe too. Because obviously they weren't just targeting me; they're targeting like mommies by themselves or women by themselves out there, and that's that's just ridiculous. Like, you need to be aware of what's going on around you. I thought I was in a good, safe part of town, and I usually am okay. I'm not usually paranoid or scared easily, and I go to this grocery store all the time by myself or with my 3 children. I am not easily perturbed. But today, I felt like I needed to be on the lookout. I don't know why, but I did. Oh, because last night I went out and I went out late, and I don't usually do that because my husband doesn't want me to for obvious reasons. Because if I go out with my daughter and she's hanging off my back, all they have to do is just like take her or put a weapon to her, and they can basically do I would basically do anything they ask because my daughter's in danger. So please stay home if it's late and you're a woman and you're not in a group. You don't, if you really don't need it, please don't go out. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to say that Jesus won't protect you, but there's just some situations you really shouldn't put yourself in because it's just dangerous, even if you do have the Holy Spirit and the angels all around you, ladies. If and my family is, I'm no longer gonna go out by myself shopping or to places like that in public alone. Either I'm gonna go with my husband and my family, or I'm gonna go with friends because I'm not gonna take that risk. And it's not even just me risking myself, it's risking my children too. And I don't think that's fair because, like, it's just like once you have kids, it's just like you do anything and you don't want to ever see them put in harm's way like that. Like, okay, now for the slightly better version or like end of the podcast. If you, I'm not sure, I'm not big into feminism, obviously, but there is a podcast called Impact Theory, and I prefer Women of Impact because um, she just puts out some really informative things for women specifically that I think, feminist or not, they are important for women to learn and keep women safe. And the most recent episode, one of the most recent episodes, I don't remember how recent it was, but it is with Dr. Lisa Dobson, and she talks about psychopaths and stuff. But she also talks about how if you're a woman, you don't need to put the cart back because that's literally putting your life in danger, especially if you're a woman with children and you're putting your groceries away before you're putting your children away. Because she said that she posted on X that she doesn't put her cart away and she's not ashamed of that, and she got a lot of heat for that. But within a week of her posting that on X, that a toddler was violently stabbed to death in a shopping cart. And that got me really thinking. It got me thinking about all the creepy pastas that taught me that you shouldn't let the people that are tailing you know where you live, because there are other people that they're affiliated with that are parts of gangs, that even if this person is just a single person, you shouldn't let them know where you live, especially if you're a woman, especially if you're a single woman, or if you're just a mom and you still have a man. It's still not safe for you or your family to have that predator knowing where you live. Thank you to creepypastas. Thank you to Reddit posters who make awareness around these things. And thank you to Miss Lisa Dobson for sharing that experience about that toddler so that my toddler and I don't have to be trafficked. All I could say when I got home is that the enemy has an agenda and he doesn't try to come against anyone that is not already harming that agenda. So what I say to him is that no weapon formed against me will prosper. No weapon formed against us will prosper. Because for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. Yes, some days, if you're I don't know how much of a Christian you are or if you aren't, but there is definitely some warfare going on. And that if you are a Christian that's truly in repentance, that's truly walking with Christ, there will be either physical or spiritual attacks on you. And this is not a curse, this is just a fact. And I'm sorry to say it's that, but Paul says that we will suffer for his sake, and it's true. And obviously, we don't needlessly put ourselves in the way of suffering or danger. So that's just things. So, ladies, stay safe. Hide your kids, hide your wife, and keep God in your heart. That was creepy. Guys, oh my gosh, I'm waking out right now. Anyway, I wish I could leave this on a better note. This is a tough one. Like, I literally felt like it's important to record it tonight. There we go. There's the beam. Cast look into my beam. Yeah, this was a heavy one. I felt like it was important to record this tonight because I've already told this story over 6 times to my family, to the officers, to the safety guards, to like my husband, and then to close friends and family to be aware and stuff. So I felt it's important. I know your brain, when you're telling a story, doesn't know the difference between reality and a physical experience versus what's playing out in your mind. So I thought in this safe environment, it'd be good for me to get out that trauma as soon as possible so I'm not reliving it multiple times needlessly. And plus I was kind of not feeling peace. I think that's the other part I wanted to end on, which I forgot, was excuse me, is that listening to my 444 hurts because 440 will give you sickness and disease, and 444 is God's master degree of sound, healing, and peace. The 440 is Satan's agenda and redesign, just like the Antichrist. What I wanted to say, don't let, in all of this, don't let the enemy steal your peace. Remember that the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, self-control. We have nothing to fear when we trust in Him, when we walk in His faith and His love and His Spirit and His redemption, remembering that all afflictions were bought and paid for when He died on that cross and was nailed to. It's not just our sin that was nailed to the cross with Him, but that it was our flesh and our humanness and our death that died with Him. We do not have to die because He already paid for us with His death. We will live eternally with Him, either on this earth or in heaven, or both, because as it is in heaven, so it shall be in earth, and as it is in earth, so shall it be in heaven. This is scriptural. Do not let the enemy take your peace. Obviously, don't needlessly put yourself in danger, but do not let him take your peace. That is what he wants, because fear is the arbiter of anger. Anger is the arbiter of rage, and rage, just as Mr. Yoda says, leads to suffering. Oh, wait. Anger leads to hate. And then hate leads to suffering. Sorry. My Star Wars fans. uh, uh, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Amen. The joy of the Lord is my strength. That is one of the first verses that I was in deep in anxiety and limerence and frustration in the middle of a battle that was unseen and only in my mind, that God poured his spirit out over me, and he said to me, "The joy of the Lord is your strength." I had not thought about that verse. I was not very much a Bible reader. I did not. He poured that word into my heart and into my spirit and mind, because his word is written in our hearts, because he knit us together in the womb and knew us before we were even born. He is a masterful and wonderful creator. And if you're going through a time of anxiety and suffering and fear, this is for you. Have a good night, guys.